The Ghouls, Tabitha, and W.M. A terrifying horror story of the end of the world. W.M. and Tabitha were an unlikely couple living in a small, rural town. They had been together for years, and their relationship had grown deeper and more profound with time and the years they shared together. They had a simple, small life that they both adored. One evening, they decided to take a detour on their usual route home. As they drove, the trees seemed to be getting darker and the air seemed to grow thicker. The couple stopped and went for a walk in the woods. As they got deeper and deeper into the woods, they began to hear strange and eerie sounds. They stopped in their tracks as they heard something that sounded like a shriek and a howl. W.M. and Tabitha looked at each other in terror and the color drained from their faces. The shriek and howl came closer and soon the couple realized what was coming. A pack of ghouls had been stalking them, and they were now closing in. The ghouls were tall, thin creatures with grotesquely pale skin and bony limbs. Their eyes glowed a sickly yellow in the darkness. W.M. and Tabitha ran as fast as they could, but the ghouls were too fast. W.M. felt a sharp pain in his chest as a ghoul slashed him with its claws, and Tabitha screamed in horror. The pack of ghouls ripped W.M. apart and ate his lifeless body. Tabitha was in shock and watched in horror as the ghouls devoured W.M. When the ghouls were done, they began to advance on Tabitha. She was desperate to escape, but she was too scared to move. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a bright light shone down from the sky and a deep, booming voice echoed through the darkness. The voice told the ghouls to leave Tabitha alone and never come back. The ghouls bowed in reverence and fled into the night. Tabitha was in shock and could hardly believe what had just happened. The next morning, Tabitha went to Wem's grave to say her final goodbyes. As she stood there, she felt something like a presence around her. She looked up and saw that the bright light from the night before was still shining down on Wem's grave. The light gradually began to lift Wem's spirit out of the grave and up into the sky. The spirit of W.M. hovered just above Tabitha before it slowly faded away. Tabitha cried tears of joy as she realized that she had been granted a second chance at life, and W.M. had been granted his eternal peace. Tabitha understood what had happened and was grateful for the gift of life. From that day forward, she dedicated her life to helping the poor and the needy, and she lived a life free of fear. Although Tabitha never saw the ghouls again, the town where she and W.M. lived was forever marked by the terror of that night. Whenever the townspeople heard a shriek or howl in the night, they would remember the horror of the ghouls and how W.M. was taken from them. They would never forget the terror of that night, and they would never be able to forget the love shared by W.M. and Tabitha. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and tell us what you think in the comments. And of course, don't forget to subscribe.